that falls on me, and not having the team prepared to play. Missouri, credit them. They were extremely excited and prepared to play, and Coach Drinkowitz deserves the credit, and their staff. They did a really good job, of their game plan. They outplayed us. They were more physical than us. They were more excited to play the game than us, and more prepared. And the outcome was because of that. So that starts with me and getting the team prepared. And we have to do a better job of matching the intensity of our opponent. And you go on the road to Missouri. The last time we went there, I felt like we were outplayed, and somehow we were able to come away with a victory. And this time it wasn't the case. And you have to credit them for that. So we have a lot to work on. I felt like, defensively, we're very lackluster early in the game. I thought our intensity really picked up as the game went on. But again, there was too many yards where they were extremely patient of oozing us, of getting 2, 3, 4, 5-yard runs. Even when we got good stops for negative yardage, they were able to convert third downs. There was a lot of manageable third downs that they did a good job of converting. That's things that they did well, and that's things that we didn't execute. There was a combination of things. Offensively, I thought what was disappointing is our bread and butter. We were not able to run the ball efficiently. When we did, we scored on the only two possessions we had that we scored points. We were able to create runs and create positive plays in the run game. We tried to open it up and throw the ball. I want to say we were 50-50 with run pass early, and that combination really didn't work. We weren't effective at throwing the ball. And, I think that combination, when we get behind the chains, was not effective. And then when we did try to run the ball at times and get ahead of the sticks, they were very good and stout and holding us in the run game, getting us in second and long, getting us in third and long, and it wasn't a good combination. So a lot of work to be done, and all of us need to take that responsibility. And we say that every week, but it's so true. I think it's everybody in the program. Look at, accept your responsibility, what you can do better, and how we could do it better. And that starts, with me, getting them prepared and getting them mentally sharp enough to play. I tried, believe me. I tried extremely hard, and even to the point where I, went to an extreme Saturday morning as far as what I normally don't do as far as in pregame, because I just felt like we weren't on point, and for some reason, and I got to get them prepared throughout the week. It doesn't happen on Saturday. You can't flip that switch. So we got a lot of work to do. Big challenge this week with Georgia. Kirby's done a remarkable job in coaching this team, and unbelievable athletes. Very well coached, and obviously recruited at a high level. They have impact guys across the board, balanced offensively and defensively, as good a defense as I've seen in a long time. Very, very explosive defensively across the board. Athletes all over the field can overwhelm you. So big challenge ahead of us here this week, and obviously need to improve.
Okay, this time we will open it up for questions, and first question is from John Hill.
Hey Mark, obviously the depth chart says Terry or Joey at quarterback. How will you make that decision this week? And do you have a time frame of when you want to decide who will start the game?
No, we'll see. We'll see how it goes throughout the week. Haven't had an opportunity to meet with those guys, with Sunday being a day off, and got our meetings coming up. So we'll see where everything is after a couple days.
Okay, Josh Moore.
Mark, when you look at what's going on offensively, do you feel like you're doing enough based on what you all were able to have success with last year? Is there enough of that in the toolbox as far as how you're approaching things, or is it as big a deviation from that? Like, I guess what I'm asking is, do you think you would be having better success offensively if you were maybe leaning into that a little bit more?
Well, we still have a good dose of that in the game plan as far as the Q run game with helped with Lynn and with the quarterback run game. We still have some of that in there. We're not doing maybe obviously quite as much. We're trying to mix it up. We felt like with the way Missouri was going to play us, that they were going to be one-on-one outside and press us and get in our face outside and load up the run game. So we felt like we had to throw the ball. That's why we opened the game with three straight passes. We went incomplete, and then complete for 5 or 6 yards. So we felt like we had to push the ball down the field a little bit and create some in the pass game. Unfortunately, we're not very effective in that.
Josh Moore?
Following up on that, Mark, the receivers looks like they're Drennan's at the listed there at receiver now. What's the combination there that you think needs to happen to get those guys going? What's going on? Is it defenses? Are they just having a real easy time locking those guys down, or is that?
There's a combination of things, and certainly we don't need to get into finger pointing in the media, but there's things we can do better. Obviously, there was times when we got guys open, and we didn't have protection. We didn't have many possessions. One possession early was a protection issue, where guys were coming open. Other times were run pass options, where maybe we didn't make the right decision. There was other times when we had another drop in a critical moment. So there's a variety of things that we need to do better, and I don't need to point the finger at any one group. Obviously, we all need to accept the responsibility for that and improve on it.
John Hale?
Mark, do you have a feel for whether Coach Slarman's going to be back in practice this week, or if he's going to be with the team at all?
I don't know. He will not be here today. He was not here yesterday, and so I'll give you an update on that when I can. I'm just trying to respect his privacy and let him get his rest and see if we can get him healthy. Right now, he has obviously a tough battle ahead of him, and hopefully John will start feeling better. First and foremost for him and for his family, not to get back to work. We just want him feeling good.
Nick Roush?
Speaking in general terms, what do you want to see from the quarterback position that they haven't done so far this year?
Well, again, I want to see our team play better. Anytime you say something like that, it's going to get zeroed in on any one particular person. We need to play better as a unit, and we all understand that. We got to put our players in position that they can do what they can do. What are their strengths? We need to execute that. That goes across the board. I want our unit to play better. I want us to play better across the board. I didn't feel like we strained like we normally do. That goes for everybody. I don't feel like we played with the same chip, the same mentality, the same edge that you need to play with each and every week. And no matter what you do, who you play, you have to refuel during the week. And it's a challenge, but it's not an excuse. It is what it is. We have physically and mentally strong players, and we have to make sure they're ready to play, and it goes across the board. So, I'm not going to put any one thing on the quarterback because that's going to get blown out of proportion. We need to play better as a unit.
Lonnie Demery?
Mark, you have on your support team, I guess, you have what's called the director of applied sports science, and under the umbrella is there a sports psychologist listed there? Is it Chris Morris, is the director of psychology, or do you imply a psychologist, team psychologist?
Yeah, Chris Morris is our director of sports science, but he is not qualified to be sports psychologist. So we have somebody within the university that handles all student athletes and all people on campus. So there's nobody that directly is here with me day by day.
Okay.
Derek Terry?
Mark, Nick Saban had a quote on Saturday after their game at Tennessee. He said, "It used to be that good defense beats good offense. Good defense doesn't beat good offense anymore." I was wondering, as a defensive coach yourself, if you felt like that statement's true.
Oh, I definitely think there's some truth to that. That doesn't mean we all, including him, we all want to play great defense, and especially defensive coaches. But I think you also have to understand that we all understand you got to score points, and the level that they're playing at, they're at a point in their program where they want to win each and every game. For us, we're not quite there yet, but we're trying. That's our goal, is to win no matter what Saturday we play. And it also depends on the people you have around them, and the playmakers that you have. And, I'm watching crossover games just because of who we're playing, and watching both sides of the ball against Georgia, and you watch Alabama, and it's almost absurd, the offensive playmakers that they have. So you can understand that, and so they're playing at a elite level offensively. But I think to win it all, obviously you got to be good on all sides, and everybody knows that, and that's what we're all striving to be. But certainly, I think it's you need to find ways to score points. That's for sure. And we need to continue to recruit playmakers, and we need to do as good a job as we can offensively as coaches to make sure we're putting them in a position to do what they can do.
Nick Roush?
Earlier in the year, I don't know if it was you or Eddie who said there wasn't any panic, not time to kind of throw away the game plan and start from scratch. Are you at that point?
Oh, we'll never be at that point where we're going to panic. I mean, are we happy with the way we played? I think you understand that we're not. Nobody's happy with the result of Saturday, but nobody wants to just throw away everything we've done and start over. Improve? Absolutely. Need to. Whether you win or whether you lose, we're trying to improve and get better. And, it's frustrating when you take a step back. And, again, that's easy to finger point, and I understand that. But really, that's on me. We have to have the team prepared to play. And I'm trying. You try different tactics. We work extremely hard. But I got to find a way to reach this team. This team is different than other teams I've had, and it's a different mentality, and I've got to find the right way to reach and to continue to develop leadership and to get that pull from the top to play the way we're used to playing. It's a different year, but it is what it is. I expect more, from myself to get out of this team.
Mark Story?
Mark, you mentioned, you mentioned the need for more explosive playmaking. When you have an offense that has struggled like Kentucky has recently, is that a recruiting opportunity, and that you can go out and say, guys, hey, come here and make a difference? Or do you worry that people are going to use it against you and it's going to be harder to get those kind of players?
Absolutely. Both things you just said. That it is what it is. Obviously, we need playmakers. I believe in the players we have here. We got to give them a better opportunity, and that's our job as coaches. And so our players that are here will continue to get better, and we will continue to put them in a spot to be successful. Certainly, we need to play better at certain positions, and we all need to shoulder that responsibility. And so if it's on the quarterback, it's on the quarterback. If it's on the line, it's on the line. If it's a running back with protection or catching it, or a receiver catching the ball, it's all the above. But there's guys here that can play better, and that starts with that. And, of course, people will use it against you, but you have to be able to overcome that. and recruit playmakers.
All right, John Wong.
Mark, Eddie was asked at the beginning of the year about the tempo of the offense and in-game adjustments, and he said that he relied a lot on your feel, that he kind of trusted your feel for the game. Are you two still in sync? Has anything changed in terms of how you do pregame planning or even coaching along the sidelines?
No, I think nothing's changed. I mean, there's certainly some frustration when things don't work. Saturday was one of those games where obviously we didn't execute our bread and butter, and when we did, we were effective at moving the ball. It was few and far between. But when we were able to be physical and run the ball and get ahead of the chains, we were efficient. Part of that is on the defense. We let them control the game. They controlled the clock. They controlled field position. So a lot of our drives were backed up, where normally, at times, we're trying to get ahead of the chains and get first downs. But again, we always second guess ourselves. Need to be more aggressive, not aggressive enough. Did you need to throw it more? You need to throw it less. I mean, I looked at the beginning of the game when the game was in balance, and we were 50-50, and that wasn't effective. I want to look at our two touchdown drives. And both of our touchdown drives, we were efficient at running the ball. On the field goal, we were 3 runs, 2 passes. One of those was a drop. On the touchdown drive, we were 6 runs and 2 passes, and one of the passes were for a touchdown. But again, it's driven off of positive run plays, and we were not able to do that in a lot of the drives. And again, that's across the board. So that there's enough blame to go around as far as defense giving up field position, giving up time of possession. They were able to see that. You could tell Coach Drinkwood, he talked about that last week. Ryan Walters, their defense coordinator, talked about that last week, complimenting each other the way we play. Running the ball, being physical, keeping them off balance, controlling a lot of the games, play good defense, and that's exactly what they did to us. And they beat us, and they beat us convincingly, but they kind of beat us at our own game. And so they were more physical. I felt like defensively, we at times you put on that tape and you see how hard our guys were playing to the bitter end. But there's times when we just weren't sharp. A 2-yard loss turned into a 3-yard gain. And that's kind of the story, and that's just not being on point across the board. And when that happens, obviously, it's on me. And I know people are going to say, oh, yeah, there he is saying that, but it's true. It's true. I have to somehow reach these guys to get them on point, and they're strong men that are trained, that have enough in their tank, and they have to do their part. They have to sleep. They have to get their rest. They have to come prepared to practice, because it's going to be a grueling year. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us. You're going to play Georgia this week, and I told them after a victory, I told them after a loss, go, get in an ice bath, put a bunch of ice on your bodies because you're all banged up, because we've got to go back to work. That's just the way it is. That's what I said after the Tennessee game, and we didn't respond. I could tell you this. Missouri wanted it more Saturday, and that's on me.
Gary Graves.
Mark, based on what you've seen with Georgia, how much different do they look from recent teams, and what kind of wrinkles or threats do they pose now that you have to prepare for?
Very similar than the way they've been. I think defensively, just continually getting better and better, just with recruiting and what they do. I mean, they're explosive on defense. They could really create negative plays and create turnovers and be very disruptive. And offensively, very similar to the way they've been. Still very physical with talented running backs. They have a hard matchup in the slot with number 10. He's a handful, big wide out, number 1 on the outside. They're typical Georgia, physical and explosive. create pinch sets, create some tough matchups on what they do. So very talented team and well coached.
Jeff Drummond?
Yeah, Mark, Terry at times looks a little bit indecisive or hesitant in the QB run game that you talked about earlier. Have you sensed that from him, or any reasons why it's not been as effective as maybe it's been in the past?
I think when it comes to the QB read in the run game, some of it, I don't believe that. I said it a week ago in here that I thought he was decisive on certain things. They're going to make mistakes. All of our quarterbacks aren't going to be perfect on their run reads as far as giving it to the back or pulling it. Sometimes there's some gray there, and they're not always going to be perfect. We understand that. On our run pass options, on our RPOs, we're very clear on that, and we need to be on point with that. And that we need to improve on, because to be effective offensively, we have to be able to execute that. We have not done that. But as far as him being decisive, and I thought he's been decisive, I thought he's been tough in the run game. There was a play Saturday that will show him that he was indecisive as far as how to run the ball. He went lateral. He had the right read. He had a correct read. He pulled it, and he just kind of ran lateral and gave up. We had a 2-yard run when we had a middle third safety tackling him. That can't happen. He's a better athlete than that, and so that should have at least been 5, 6, 7, maybe more if he makes that guy miss. And I think that may be the play you're talking about. That was a tentative run, but that was one. I think other times on predetermined quarterback run game, I thought he's run hard and stuck it, inside and read the reads and has been a tough runner. There was one play on Saturday that I think you're referring to that I may agree with, but other than that, I thought he's done a pretty good job. Again, we got to do better at the RPOs. The run reads, it's either going to be a give to the running back or a cue. They're going to make a few mistakes on that, and there's a little gray. On the RPOs, it's clean, and we need to be clean, and we need to be 100% on that.
Derek Terry?
Mark, Akeem Hayes is still on the depth chart. Haven't seen him out there the last 2 weeks. I was just wondering his status coming into this game.
We'll see. He's working his way back in, and we'll see if he can do that.
Josh Moore?
Mark, I know the offensive line takes what's happening with the offense really personally themselves. I like what Drake had to say after the game on Saturday, but what does this look like for them? Like, what do they need to work on, especially with Coach Larman, out for a bit? How does that look for them, just getting ready and staying in it?
Well, I don't know what Drake said because I didn't read any of it, but I'm sure they were not pleased. To me, again, they're no different than the whole team. And again, I don't want to finger point at them because I thought it was across the board that we didn't play up to our level of expectation as far as straining and details and doing things right. And I felt like they were no different than the team. They had their moments where they were good, and then they had their moments where they weren't up to what we expect of them. So we expect more. I think they expect more of themselves, and and we need to play better.
Mark Story?
Mark, is Bo Allen close to being in the quarterback mix, or is he in the quarterback mix to actually get in the game?
He is in the mix. It's difficult, as you can imagine, to get 3 guys game reps, during the week, getting them game ready. That part of it is tough because all the quarterbacks need the reps. They need the looks. And, And so that's where it gets, there's a fine line there with, running our receivers into the ground and, but also getting the looks for the quarterbacks at game speed. So it's hard getting 3 quarterbacks looks, but he's been impressive. I've said that from the beginning. He's a guy that, definitely, has some great ability and anticipation and can throw the ball. So we'll see where it goes. It's hard to get 3 guys ready, but yes, he is in the mix. He is getting reps, and he has been impressive. So we'll see where it goes. I think, today there's nothing major, but I don't think Terry's able to practice today from what my trainers have told me, just with a minor injury. So, he'll get a lot of reps today, him and Joey.
Okay, time for 2 more. Lonnie and John. Lonnie, go ahead.
Yeah, Mark, after the game, Mr. Crocker talked about we asked about the run game, and of course he obviously had 16 solo tackles. But anyway, he said that Missouri is running a lot of outside zone runs in the running game, and he felt like that was a difficult thing to stop. In order to be, they set the edge pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stop that?
Yeah, we knew that going into the game. That's what they do. They run the zone or they run the GT coming back. They do a nice job of dressing things up with some motions and some deception coming at you and running the GT back. So we know that, worked that all week. The outside zone, obviously his system is very similar to Louisville, being that their systems are very close as far as running outside zone. We got reached. We got cut off a couple times. Sometimes we had, I don't know exactly the statistics. What was aggravating is we had a lot of negative yardage plays or stops for little game, but then we gave up, that aggravating yards. They were oozing us, and they completed, they were effective on 3rd downs. As I said after the game, just the fact that they had 20 3rd downs is not a good statistic for us defensively. They controlled the ball way too much, had way too many snaps, and too many 1st downs, and that really hinders our offense as well. So as a team, we didn't do our job. But the outside zone, there was a variety of things that did hurt us from time to time. Some of it was tempo. Some of it was formation into the boundary. Some of it was so many plays. We had some guys getting reached. And then there was other times we knocked it out, pretty good. So there's a variety of things, but nothing that we haven't seen and nothing we haven't defended before.
And last question is John Hale.
Mark, as you all are looking for more dynamic playmakers and some of that speed, obviously you're really high on those young guys you signed the last 2 years at receiver. Are they to the point where you can, play them in a smaller package of things they are really good at now, even if they're not ready for everything? Or does that kind of thing telegraph to defenses what you're going to do when they're on the field?
Well, no, I don't think it telegraphs. I think we have to continue to work them in and continue to get them reps. And, I think you'll see, Isaiah continue to push for reps during the week, and Michael Drennan continue to push for reps. And we'll look at all options, but they're getting better and need to continue to push those guys.
Okay, folks, we've got our time limit for today. Coach Stoops, thank you.